So here in this video we will see about how to solve a FP growth or how to draw a tree for FP growth. FP growth means frequent pattern growth. Suppose this is the question which we have given. This is transaction ID and this is the items. So transaction T100 contain I1, I2, I5. Transaction T2 contains I2, I4. T3 contains I2 and I3, T4 contain I1, I2, I4. Likewise, these all are the transaction which we have given and these are the item set. Now we have to count the support count of this item set. Now see how to count the support count. For counting support count, we have to write the item ID here. So here we have uh, items like I1, I2, I5, I4, I3. That means I1, I2, I3, I4, I5 and I6 likewise. So support count for I2 is 7. So how this 7 comes? That means this I2 comes in the picture for 7 times. So that's why support count for the I2 is 7. So here is first count, here is second count, here is third count, here is fourth count, 5, 6 and 7. This is how the support count we have calculated. Likewise we have calculated the support count for the all item ID. We have not written the item ID for I5 because in the question given that support count for a minimum support count should be 2. Here if I calculated the support count for I5, it should be, see how, 1, 2. So here is suppose so here is your I5. So here you have to write down the item ID I5 is equals to 2. If the support count is less than 2, in that case it's not required to mention that support count because in the question it is given that minimum support count is 2. Now see, so first is what? Null. Your root null is null. What is your first transaction? First transaction contain T100 is equals to I1, I2, I5. Now arrange these items as per the support count in descending order. So what is support count for I1? It is 6. Support count for I2 is 7 and support count for I5 is 2. So you have to arrange this in descending order. So first is I2 comes, then I1 comes, then I5 comes. So here you have to draw a first root for I2. Here count for I2 is 1. So what is next? After I2, I1 will come in picture. So here is I2. It is 1. And after I1, next is your I5. So here is 1. So this is for transaction T100. Now see the transaction T200. What is the items which are present in T200 is I2 and I4. Support count for I2 is 7 and I4 is 2. So its descending order is I2 and I4. Now here you have to start from the null. Okay, this is already we have written, that is I2. So here you have to write here 2 because I2 comes 2 times. So here it will come 2. After I2, I4 is there. So here after I2, I1 is there. So you have to draw another node, that is I4. So here is your I4 and its count is 1. So now we have done with transaction to T200. Now see the 300. It comes I2 and I3. Now see what is the sequence of this I2 and I3. It's I2 and it's I3. Okay, its support count is 7 and its support count is 6. So here you have to draw a tree for this. Here is your I2. So here the count of I2 will be 3 here. because previously it was 2, and after I2 I3 will be there. So here you have to add one more root, one more node here, that is I3, and count of this I3 is 1. Okay, now see the next transaction, that is 400. 400 contains the item set are I1, I2 and I4. If you have to arrange this in descending order, in that case you have to take I2 first, then I1, then I4. So again I am going to update our tree. So first is what, your I2. So here is your I2. Now instead of 3 you have to write here 4. Okay, after I2 I1 is there. So here is your subtree or node which is connected with I2. So here you have to make this entry as a 1 2, that is 1 plus 1 is 2, and after I1 I4 is there. So here is I4. So after I1 there is no I4, so here you have to draw a tree for I4. So here is I4 and its count is 1. Now after transaction T400, see the transaction T500. It contains, this is for first, this is for second, this is for third, this is for fourth, and this is for fifth. It contains I1 and I3 arranged in ascending or descending order. It's already in descending order. So first is your I1, second is your I3. So there is no root start from the I1, so you have to add one more root. So here I will take, now I will make another tree. Also you can continue with previous also, that is your choice. Here is your I1 is for, sorry, I2 is for 4 time. Here is your I1. So you see, here is your I2 which comes for 4 time. Here is your I1, it is for 2 time. Here is your I5, it comes for 1 time. Then it is your I4 which occur once, and here is I3 which occur once, and here I1 there is another root with I4. Now we have to make another root which is for I1. So here is your I1, its count is 1, and after I1 there is node for I3, its count is 1. This is transaction T500. Now see the transaction T600 which contains I2 and I3. It's already in descending order. So here is your I2. Now you have to make this count as a plus 1, that is 4 plus 1 is 5, and here is your I3. After I2 there is path for the I3. See, yes, it is available. So make a count of this 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, this is transaction T600. Next transaction is what, 700, which contains I1 and I3. Now see, support count for I1 is 6 and I3 is 6. So here is your tree which is already available. So just you have to increase the count of the tree, so count of the node. So here is your 2 and here is your 2. After transaction 700, see the transaction 800 which contains I1, I2, I3 and I5. Now you have to arrange this in descending order. So first is your I2, then your I1, then I3, then I5. So see, there is root starts from the I2. So here is your I2, make it is you have to add a plus 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6. So I2's count is 6. After I2 there is path for the I1. So this is path for the I1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So here is your I1 is 3. Now after I1 I3 is there. So here you have to make one, you have to add one node for I3, its count is 1, and after I3 I5 is there. So make one more node which is connected with I3, its count is 1. So this is transaction T800. Now see the transaction T900 which contains item set 1, 2 and 3 arranged in descending order, which is I2, I1 and I3. See, there is path available for I2, I1 and I3. Just you have to increase the count. Here is your I2, 6 plus 1 is 7. And then here is after I2, I1 is there, so here is plus 1, that is 4. Now I3 is there, so this is your I3. So add a count. So this is your FP growth tree. Okay, now just connect this item set, that is this one. Connect this I2 with this I2, with this I2, connect this I1 with this I1 node. Then you will done with the FP growth tree. Thank you.